Pornography is not merely a side issue. It is not a harmless private indulgence. It is not just entertainment. It is not something to be laughed off or swept under the rug. It is, in truth, one of the most destructive forces operating on this planet today. Quietly, silently, and often invisibly, it is consuming the willpower, clarity, and dignity of billions. It is rotting the internal framework of men and women alike and breaking the back of our collective spiritual evolution. While wars, politics, and economies dominate the headlines, porn is waging a war that is far more sinister. One that starts in the mind and ends in the soul. This piece will explore exactly why pornography is so destructive, how it undermines individuals and societies, and why anyone who seeks power, purpose, and peace must make a decisive and permanent break from its grip. At the core of pornography's danger is its ability to hijack the human brain. The mind is a sacred tool. It is wired to seek novelty, connection, and reward. Pornography hijacks the system and overclocks it with unnatural levels of dopamine stimulation. Each time you watch porn, especially modern, fast-paced content, your brain is flooded with dopamine far beyond what it would experience in real human intimacy. Over time, this leads to desensitization. You need more extreme content, more frequent viewing, and longer sessions to get the same high. This is identical to how addiction to hard drugs like cocaine or heroin works. Your brain gets rewired. Your pleasure-reward circuitry becomes distorted. Simple joys like a walk in nature, deep conversation, or holding hands with a real woman become dull, unimpressive, and boring. This is psychological slavery. Porn doesn't just entertain you, it owns you. Men are born to build, lead, fight, and protect. The masculine spirit was made for conquest, not of women, but a life of obstacles, of greatness. When a man gives his energy over porn, he reverses his life force. Instead of projecting his energy outward into the world to create, shape, and elevate, he implodes. Porn is the antithesis of masculine power. Every ejaculation to a screen is a theft of your drive, your confidence, your focus, your magnetic presence. It numbs your ambition and dampens your fire. Many men wonder why they can't stay consistent in business, in self-discipline, in health, or in purpose. They try affirmations courses, motivation videos, but they never address the hidden addiction in the shadows. Porn. When you are hooked on porn, your soul is split in two. One part wants to rise, the other part wants to escape. Until this fracture is healed, true masculine embodiment is impossible. Porn tells a lie. It creates the illusion of intimacy without risk, vulnerability, or investment. It gives you the image of connection, but none of the real substance. Over time, this has devastating effects on how people relate to each other. For men, it creates unrealistic expectations of women. Real bodies, real personalities, real emotions become frustrating when compared to the fantasy world of porn. Many men begin to view women as tools for pleasure rather than sacred beings to be honored and cherished. For women, it breeds insecurity, comparison, and pressure to perform. Many feel inadequate or pressure to act like porn stars just to keep their partner's attention. This creates deep wounds in trust, connection, and emotional safety. Furthermore, porn addiction is a leading cause of erectile dysfunction in young men today, known as porn-induced ED. It results from a brain so overstimulated by artificial novelty that it can no longer respond to real-life physical touch. Porn doesn't just hurt sex, it makes true intimacy impossible. Behind every video, every image, and every scene is a system of exploitation. Many performers, especially women, are manipulated, trafficked, coerced, and abused. They are often lured in by false promises and pressured into acts that damage them physically and emotionally. Even those who enter willingly are often broken inside. High rates of drug abuse, depression, and suicide exist in the porn industry. What you're watching on screen is often the projection of someone else's trauma. By consuming porn, you're funding an industry that thrives on the destruction of others. You're not a passive observer. You're an active participant in a supply chain of suffering. To view porn is to say, your pain is my entertainment. Every major spiritual tradition, from Christianity to Buddhism to Islam to ancient Taoism, warns against the unchecked indulgence in lust. Why? Because sexual energy is sacred. It is the creative force of life itself. It is the power of manifestation, vitality, and divine connection. When you misuse this energy through pornography, you desecrate what is holy. You leak your power. You lose your radiance. Your inner fire dims. Your connection to God becomes distorted. Your intuition becomes blocked. Your sense of purpose and clarity becomes foggy. You lose the glow of retained energy and walk through life half dead, moving, breathing, but not alive. Porn keeps you trapped in the lower chakras. It disconnects you from your heart and blinds your vision. A man consumed by porn cannot become a king. He cannot lead, serve, or hear the divine. True power comes from discipline, from delayed gratification, from the ability to say no to what feels good now, so you can experience what is great later. Porn kills this discipline. It conditions your brain to expect instant gratification. You want to feel good? Click a button. Watch a video. Release. There is no effort, no process, no cost, just dopamine on demand. This spills into every other area of life. You begin to seek shortcuts in business. You procrastinate on goals. You delay hard decisions. You eat poorly. You scroll aimlessly. Why? Because your brain is now wired for easy pleasure and quick hits. Breaking free from porn isn't just about sex. It's about reclaiming control over your will. It's about training your nervous system to sit with discomfort. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't fall for illusions. The modern world wants men to be weak. It wants them to be passive, distracted, and docile. Why? Because weak men are easy to control. They do not lead revolutions. They do not speak the truth. They do not fight for what is right. They consume and obey. Porn is one of the primary tools used to create this weakness. It keeps men drained, isolated, shame-ridden, silenced. It dulls their hunger and muffles their roar. A man addicted to porn may talk about discipline, but he cannot embody it. He may read about purpose, but he cannot live it. He may desire greatness, but he cannot step into it. Society is not collapsing because of war or politics. It is collapsing because the average man is no longer dangerous to the darkness. He has traded his sword for a screen, his edge for an escape. Perhaps the most sinister thing about porn is how quiet it is. It doesn't destroy you overnight. It takes years. It chips away at your soul, one release at a time. You start compromising. You feel a little guilt, a little shame, but you ignore it. Over time, that shame turns into numbness. You stop feeling altogether. Life becomes mechanical. You go through the motions. You say the right things. But deep inside, you know something is wrong. You feel fragmented, like you're watching yourself live someone else's life. That is the hidden cost of porn, disconnection from your own soul. And when you are disconnected from your soul, nothing can satisfy you. Not money, not success, not even relationships. Because your internal compass is broken. Porn is anti-love, anti-life, and anti-God. At its core, porn is a celebration of lust divorced from love. It is a mechanical act stripped of emotion, reverence, and meaning. It is sex without soul, energy without connection, pleasure without presence. It trains you to use others, not serve them, to consume, not cherish, to extract, not honor. Porn is anti-love because it teaches you to take instead of give. Porn is anti-life because it kills the creative essence within you. Porn is anti-God because it pulls your eyes away from the sacred and toward the profane. To break free from porn is not just to improve your life. It is to return to the divine. The good news is this: you can be free. You were not born to be a slave to your urges. You were not created to live in shame. You were not made to hide in darkness. You were made for greatness. To break free from porn, you must make a radical decision, a commitment that is spiritual, mental, and physical. You must understand that porn is not your friend. It is your executioner. It does not soothe your loneliness. It deepens it. It does not release your stress. It cages you in it. You must build new rituals. Strengthen your mind. Master your energy. And most importantly, reconnect with your soul. The good news is this: you can be free. You were not born to be a slave to your urges. You were not created to live in shame. You were not made to hide in darkness. You were made for greatness. To break free from porn, you must make a radical decision, a commitment that is spiritual, mental, and physical. You must understand that porn is not your friend. It is your executioner. It does not soothe your loneliness. It deepens it. It does not release your stress. It cages you in it. You must build new rituals. Strengthen your mind. Master your energy. And most importantly, reconnect with your soul. When you quit porn, you begin to heal. Your confidence returns. Your eyes sharpen. Your skin glows. Your purpose ignites. Your relationships deepen. Your spiritual path opens. You become magnetic, powerful, clear, and unshakable. You become a man again. While the world debates the visible problems of our time, climate, war, politics, economics, a far more insidious destruction is taking place inside hearts and minds. Porn is that destruction. It is a hidden apocalypse, the invisible war, and it is being lost every day by men who do not realize the cost of their indulgence. But there's a rising, a return of men who are waking up, reclaiming their seed, their strength, and their sovereignty. Men who refuse to live at half power. Men who burn the bridges to lust and step into legacy. Will you be one of them? Porn is not just a private weakness. It is a public crisis. It is not just a personal indulgence. It is a spiritual abdication. To conquer it is to rise. To fall to it is to be forgotten. Choose freedom. Choose fire. Choose mastery. Join the Retain to Thrive Telegram channel at the link below, where we focus on building discipline, overcoming distractions, and achieving goals. Join the supportive community sharing tips, motivation, and accountability. Let's grow together, one step at a time.